Hello dear students, myself CMA Padmaja Buzruk. I will discuss auditing. Go to study note number 7, provisions relating to audit under Companies Act. I will discuss audit of cooperative societies. A cooperative society may be formed for different purposes. Accordingly, there may be consumers cooperative societies, housing cooperative societies, industrial cooperative societies, urban and rural cooperative banks, etc. So, whatever may be the form of cooperative society, it is necessary to get accounts of cooperative societies audited. Now, we'll see the requirements. Audit as per Section 17 of Cooperative Societies Act 1912. The registrar shall audit or cause to be audited by some person authorized by him by general or special order in writing in this behalf the accounts of every registered society once at least in every year. So, at least once in every year, the registrar himself audits the accounts of registered cooperative society, or he authorizes by general or special order in writing to some other person to get the accounts of cooperative societies audited at least once in every year. The audit under subsection 1 shall include an examination of overdue debts, if any, and a valuation of assets and liabilities of society. So, audit of cooperative societies is nothing but valuation of assets and liabilities of cooperative societies, as well as examination of overdue debts, if any. The registrar, the collector, or any person authorized by general or special order in writing in this behalf by registrar shall at all times have access to all the books, accounts, papers, and securities of society. That means the person who is auditor of cooperative societies, he shall have access at all the times to all the books, accounts, papers, etc. of cooperative society. Every officer of the society shall furnish such information in regard to the transaction and working of the society as the person making such inspection may require. Whatever information, explanation the auditor of cooperative society requires, it is to be submitted to him by every officer of the society. Registrar means a person appointed to perform the duties of registrar of cooperative societies under this act. Following points should be kept in mind while auditing of an cooperative society. Qualification of auditor. Generally, only chartered accountant within the meaning of Chartered Accountants Act 1949 can be appointed as auditor of cooperative society. However, in certain state cooperative societies act, a person holding a government diploma in cooperative accounts or in corporation and accounts, or a person who has served as an auditor in the cooperative department of government may also be appointed as the auditor. The auditor should ensure that he is duly qualified to act as auditor of the society. So generally, chartered accountant can be appointed as auditor of cooperative societies, but in case of certain state cooperative societies act, a person who is holding a government diploma in cooperative accounts or in corporation and accounts, that is diploma in corporation accounts, and person who served as an auditor in cooperative department of government can also be appointed as an auditor. But the auditor has to ensure that he is duly qualified to act as an auditor of society. Appointment of auditor. An auditor of cooperative society is appointed by registrar of cooperative societies and The auditor so appointed conducts the audit on behalf of registrar and submit his report to the registrar and also to the society. So appointment of auditor of cooperative society is by registrar. He is supposed to conduct his duties as auditor and he is supposed to submit his report to the registrar as well as to the society. The audit fees are paid by the society on the basis of statutory scale of fees prescribed by the registrar according to the category of society audited. So depending upon which category of society the auditor is auditing, the fees are different. For example, the audit fees of cooperative credit society and urban cooperative banks are to be calculated with reference to working capital at the prescribed rates. Working capital here means funds at the disposal of society inclusive of paid up share capital, funds built up out of profits, and money is raised by borrowings and other means. Funds built up out of profits, that is reserves and surplus. Money is raised by borrowings, that is loan capital, and money raised by other means. It includes share capital also. Books of accounting records, that is books of accounts. Under Section 43H of Cooperative Societies Act, a state government can frame rules prescribing the books and accounts to be kept by cooperative society. So as regards books of accounts and records to be kept by cooperative societies, state government frame the rules for this. For example, in Maharashtra, the cooperative societies are required to maintain cash book, general ledger, personal ledger, stock register, property register, etc. Cash book. It may be maintained to record particulars regarding cash receipts and expenses under suitable head with clear distinction between capital and revenue item of receipts and expenses. So cash book records cash receipts as well as cash expenses, cash payments, and clear distinction should be made up between capital and revenue receipts as well as expenses. Stock register. It may contain detailed information as regards receipts, issues, and balances of stock in trade date-wise. In a producers cooperative society, perpetual inventory records. Perpetual inventory is continuous updating of inventory records. As soon as there is any purchase or sale of inventory, if there is any issue of inventory, it is necessary to update the records. That is perpetual inventory records. May be maintained based on an appropriate costing method. So stock register is maintaining detailed information about receipts, issues and balances of stock in trade date wise. Register of assets and investments. It will contain detailed particulars regarding the various immovable and movable assets belonging to the society, such as types of assets, location, date of acquisition, cost, depreciation provided, and so on. Register of assets and investment is required to be kept by cooperative societies, which gives information about type of asset, location where the asset is located, date of purchase of asset, cost, depreciation provided, and closing balance of asset. Register of fixed deposit. In case of cooperative credit society or a cooperative bank or any other society which is authorized by its bylaws to accept deposit from members or non-members, a register of fixed deposit may be maintained giving details as regards the date of acceptance, maturity, interest accrual, repayment, etc. If any member or non-member keeps fixed deposit with cooperative, societies, it is necessary for cooperative societies to maintain register giving details of date of acceptance of fixed deposits, its maturity, rate of interest, interest accruals, repayment date of fixed deposit, etc. Register of sureties. In case of cooperative credit society, loans are given against personal surety of a member. The register of sureties will give particulars about number of borrowers in respect of which a member has stood surety and show whether it is within the overall limit of suretyship. In case of cooperative credit society, loans are given, and for these loans it is necessary to get a surety of a member. That is, the member will give assurance that the person to whom the loan has been sanctioned will repay the loan. In case the person fails to repay, the member has given surety, that means he has given assurance he will take the responsibility of repayment of loan. So for this, it is necessary for cooperative societies to maintain a register of sureties which will give particulars about number of borrowers in respect of member who stood as surety, and which also shows whether it is within the overall limit of suretyship. So for each and every member, a limit is given up to what limit he can act as a surety or he can give surety. So it is auditor's duty to check these matters. Restriction on shareholding. Shareholding in a cooperative society is subject to limit prescribed in Section 5 of Cooperative Societies Act 1912. Accordingly, no member of the society other than registered society can hold more than 25% can hold more than 20% of total number of shares of society or such number of shares which in value exceeds rupees 1000. So no member of society other than registered society. So that means it is not applicable to registered society can hold more than 20% of total number of shares of society. So maximum number of shares a person can hold is 20% or such number of shares whose value exceeds 1000. So up to 1000 rupees in value a person or member can hold the shares of cooperative society. A cooperative society cannot prescribe any other limit in its bylaws which is violative of these provisions. So this cannot be altered by bylaws of the cooperative societies. In addition to this, the act passed by the states may also prescribe other restrictions as regards shareholding. The auditor should see that the provision regarding shareholding is duly followed. Restriction on loan. As per section 29A, registered cooperative society can only grant loan to its members, though with prior approval of registrar, it may grant loan to other registered cooperative societies. The auditor should see that the loans granted by society are in conformity with this provision. So that means as per section 29A, registered cooperative society with prior approval of registrar can grant loan only to its members or other registered cooperative societies. Restriction on borrowing. Subject to restrictions imposed by its bylaws, a cooperative society may accept loan and deposit from its members as well as non-members. It is the duty of auditor to ascertain that the restrictions, if any, laid down by bylaws are carefully observed. Investment of funds. There are restrictions on investment of funds belonging to cooperative society. Accordingly, a society may invest its fund in any of the following: Section 32 of Central Cooperative Societies Act. So, cooperative societies may invest its fund in central or state cooperative bank, any securities specified in Section 20 of Indian Trust Act 1882, any shares, securities, bonds or debentures of any other cooperative society with limited liability, any bank or person carrying on banking business or a cooperative bank other than a central or state cooperative bank as duly approved by registrar in any other manners as duly permitted by requisite authority. Auditor's duty: the auditor should ascertain whether the requirement as to investment of the society's funds are being observed. Appropriation of profits. According to Central Cooperative Societies Act, 25% of profit of cooperative society should be transferred to reserve fund before distribution of dividend or payment of bonus to members. Before payment of bonus to members and distribution of dividend to shareholders, 25% of profit of cooperative society should be transferred to reserve fund. However, the registrar may, having regard to the financial position of the society, reduce the percentage of profit to be transferred to reserve fund, but in any case he cannot reduce it to less than 10% of profits of the society. Supposing if financial position of cooperative society is bad, in this case registrar may reduce the percentage of profit which is to be transferred to reserve fund, but in no case it should be less than 10% of profit of the society. Apart from the above mandatory provision, a cooperative society may, subject to provisions of its bylaws, appropriate its profit by way of transfer to other reserves, distribution of dividend to members, etc. However, appropriation of profit must be duly approved by members of the society in general meeting called for the purpose. So it is necessary to take approval of members in general meeting for appropriation of profit to reserve fund. Contribution to charitable purpose. According to Section 34, a registered society may, with the sanction of registrar, contribute an amount not exceeding 10% of net profit remaining after the compulsory transfer to the reserve fund for any charitable purpose as defined in Section 2 of Charitable Endowment Act 1890. So, after transferring the amount to reserve fund, whatever the net profit remains, out of that amount can be transferred to charitable institutions, but the contribution should not exceed 10% of net profits. Special points in cooperative society. In general, while conducting audit of cooperative society, the auditor need to look into the following. The auditor should carefully go through the bylaws of the society and see that they are being observed both in letter and spirit. He should examine the register of members of society and individual shareholdings. He should test check, internal check and control system operated by the society and model his audit examination based on its strength and weaknesses. So auditor should check bylaws of the cooperative society. He should examine and check register of members and he should check their individual shareholdings. He should see whether internal check and internal control system of the cooperative societies is proper or not. Based on that, he will carry out his examination. That is, if the internal check and control system is adequate, proper, he can have only test checking. Audit of income. He should carefully vouch the receipt of cash. Cash receipt on account of share capital should be vouched with register of members. Cash received against sales should be vouched with cash memos and invoices issued to customers, as also sales account. Receipt of cash in respect of payment of interest and repayment of loan advanced by society should be vouched with loan agreement. If loan has been given by a cooperative society and if interest received or installments of the loan are repaid, it is to be vouched with reference to loan agreement. Cash received from members towards construction of houses or their maintenance should be vouched with the register of members, demands made by the society from time to time, and money receipts. So, for each and every income, it is necessary for the auditor to check this with available documentary evidence. Audit of expenditure, he should vouch all expenditure with reference to authorization from managing committee. That is, auditor should check whether for each and every expenditure proper authorization is there or not. Particularly in the case of large capital expenditure, as also the bills received from the individual parties, money receipts obtained from them, entries in the passbook along with counterfoils of check. For each and every expenditure, he should check whether there is proper authorization. He should vouch these expenditure with bills, receipts obtained, entries in the bank passbook, or with counterfoils of checks. He should vouch the payment of loan from loan agreement entered into with borrower member. He should vouch establishment expenses with reference to the resolution of managing committee, agreement with the persons concerned, and money receipt obtained from them. Other aspects or other points, he should appropriately classify overdue dates for a period from 6 months to 5 years and more. That is, it is necessary to classify, bifurcate overdue dates from 6 months to 5 years or more and report them to the members with a note regarding the effects these might have on the financial position of the society. He should also put a note regarding a probability of recovery of such debts. Whether it is probable to recover the overdue debts or not, that is to be given by auditor by way of note. Similarly, he should make special reference to the overdue amount of interest from members. Generally, interest on overdue debt should not be credited to interest account but to the overdue interest reserve account. So it is the duty of the auditor to check that if there is any interest on overdue amount from the members, whether it is credited to interest account or it is shown as interest reserve account, overdue interest reserve. Writing of bad debts should be after prior authorization from managing committee of the society. So, by writing of bad debts should have proper authorization from managing committee. According to Maharashtra Cooperative Societies rules, bad debt can be written off only when it is certified to be irrecoverable by auditor. If the auditor certifies that bad debts are irrecoverable, then and then only it is to be written off as bad debts according to Maharashtra Cooperative Societies rules. This casts a special obligation on the auditor to ascertain whether the debt in question was created within the rules of the society and whether it has now really become bad and irrecoverable. In this particular video, we have seen audit of cooperative societies. Thank you.